Hello students, welcome to Charte Group of Education. In this video, we are going to revise the two chapters of history, chapter 8 Tourism and History, chapter 9 Heritage Management. In the earlier videos, we discussed about the other chapters. Now we are going to see about these points which are given in this PPT. See here, we are discussing the two chapters, chapter 8 Tourism and History. I think we all are familiar with the word what is meant by tourism. Tourism is the one most important activity, or you can say the one most important experience in our life. Everybody wants to go for traveling or for voyage or for journey. So we are affiliated, we are also having enjoyment in this sector or in the tourism activity. Tourism, this activity is not present nowadays, but it was prevalent, it was also present, or it was also continued from many years, or you can say from ancient period in the world. So the chapter is dealing with some important types of tourism and some important concepts related to tourism here. So we'll go with the help of these points. We are revising, as I told you, this chapter with the help of the following points. Various purpose of tourism. I think we know for the tourism we are having some reasons, we are having some purposes, means there are some important reasons and purposes that we are just going for journey, voyage or any kind of a tourism. So which those purposes, which those reasons we are experiencing the part of tourism in our life. See, pilgrimage. I think by the picture you are understanding we are reaching or we are just going for any kind of a place which is related to temple, mosque or the church or like something religious place. So mainly we are accepting the tourism in the form of pilgrimage. Next we have local fair and festivals. I think you are also familiar with some particular village, they are having fairs and the festivals as well as the celebrations during the period of festivals. So this is also the one most important reason or the purpose for the tourism. Next we have trade. The trade or the commerce or the business between two countries or among the countries, or you know the representative, they are just going for the sake of conference or the deliberations, delegations or any kind of a summit in other countries. So this is also the purpose or the reason for the tourism, means trade here. Next we have education. For the sake of education, many people or the many tourists, they are just going from one place to another place for the sake of or for the purpose of education, means getting higher education facilities from other countries. So for that purpose many students are choosing some important universities for the sake of education. See, this tourism, as I told you that it was not started in this period, but it was prevalent from the ancient period. So many important travelers or the navigators or the explorers, they contributed for this sector or for nurturing or increasing the scope of tourism here. So see, some famous European travelers, mainly the continent like Asia as well as the continent like Africa, so they are explored or they are totally discovered by some European courageous travelers. Up to the 18th century, Africa was a unknown continent to the world. But when these European courageous sailors or explorers, when they reached to the place of Africa or to the region of Africa, then they shown to the world that this is a new continent and which was known as a dark continent to the world. And then after started the discovery of the African countries. As I told that in the medieval period, during the period of Renaissance, I think we studied Renaissance in the period in 8th standard. So in the period of Renaissance, many European courageous sailors or the discoverers, they were contributing having exploration of new places. So we know some mainly the names like Vasco da Gama, Ferdinand Magellan and then Bartholomew Dias. So in this way, in the part of tourism, some important the travelers, they contributed to explore the tourism here. So see, Marco Polo. Who was Marco Polo? He was an Italian traveler in the period of 13th century. He visited many countries, and whatever the places visited by him, so it was just written some experiences by him, Marco Polo. Next we have Benjamin Tudela. We'll see about Benjamin Tudela. See, the first European courageous traveler, or you can say a discoverer in this period. As I told, some important courageous European these travelers or explorers, they contributed in this tourism sector. See, mainly these courageous sailors or the travelers, they were just means not using whatever the path or the direction they used earlier. So they were just changing their path or direction as per their circumstance. Next we have Gerardus Mercator. See, we'll see about the information about Mercator. See, a cartographer. What is meant by cartographer here? A person or an expert who is contributing for preparing the maps of any place. So he was a cartographer and also known for creating a world map and globe of the earth. I think we are familiar with the map of the world as well as the globe of the earth. You know, the globe is a replica of the earth here. So he contributed for creation of these things. His contribution is well known in the period of 16th century. Okay. Then next we have Thomas Cook. Now who was Thomas Cook? See, mainly pioneer of modern tourism. It means started the one most important direction for the modern tourism or the modern tourism sector here by the contribution of Thomas Cook. Now see, mainly Thomas Cook in the period of 19th century, a great explorer who organized a trip around to Europe. Means first time with the help of railway system, he just made a round to the Europe with some people, means more than 500 people during that period were present into this journey. Then next, he also established a travel agency after getting success in this way. Means he was just selling tickets related to the journey or the voyage round to Europe here. Next we have Vishnu Bhat Godse, Mazha Pravas. Some, I think we know how we are understanding the history with the help of biographies, with the help of Vedas, Puranas, autobiographies, as well as the travelogues. It means many ancient, medieval, and in the modern period, some travelers or some important explorers, they contributed their experiences by their books or by their articles or by their treatises, isn't it? So here mainly this Vishnu Bhat Godse, he contributed whatever his experiences in the book of Mazha Pravas. So the journey started by him from Maharashtra to Ayodhya and again from Ayodhya to Maharashtra during the period of Indian War of Independence 1857. Means you can say that he was a witness of this national uprising of 1857. So whatever the experiences by him all were compiled or collected by the book known as Mazha Pravas. Next we have Ahilyabai Holkar, developing religious tourism. I think you can see the picture, you'll understand how she was the the one most important women during the period of medieval, contributed for expansion of Maratha power or Holkar empire in the place of Indore. So her contribution is well known, or you can say noteworthy. During this period, the travelers or the tourists who were going to Bara Jyotirling as well as Char Dham and the other religious or the pilgrimage centers. So she started some important reformations or reform activities related to this tourist or related to the voyage and journey. Means whatever the difficulties these tourists are facing, so whatever these difficulties were just kept aside and started good facilities by her. Means establishing dharmashalas as well as establishing panpui, means solving the needs of water here. So next we'll see about some types of tourism. Mainly this kind of a question will ask for board exam, whether for 2 marks or for 3 marks, means for brief or for short note also. See, types of tourism. here given some types or kinds of tourism here. First of all, local tourism. Mainly it is related or within a country, the tourism carry, that is called local tourism. Between two places, when kind of a trade, or when you started your journey from one place to another place. So mainly in this tourism, whatever the barrier related to currency or the language, so it doesn't come as a part of barrier in this local tourism. Next we have interstate tourism. It means between two states. So this is also the one most important tourism which is related to the domestic, or the state tourism related to between two states, interstate. Next we have international tourism. Mainly between or among the countries this tourism took place, and whenever the people or the tourists they are just going for the sake of education or for any kind of a trade pact or agreement, or then summit or conferences. So mainly this is the main purpose or the reason for having the international tourism. So nowadays many tourists are coming in India, and Indian tourists are also going in another countries for fulfilling their needs. See, mainly in the religious tourism, we are going to visit the various types of places related to a religious place, known as Char Dham, Bara Jyotirling, or the many religious places which we are affiliated. Okay, next we have historical place. I think you can see the picture which is given. By this picture you can understand that according to historical tourism, we are visiting the historical monuments, forts, and the various kinds of places which are related to history here. Next we have health tourism. In India, the various types of treatments are available nowadays, whether Unani, Ayurvedic, homeopathic, and then allopathy, as well as naturopathy. So mainly some tourists from abroad or some from other countries, they are coming in India and getting these kinds of some health treatments and accepting the Ayurveda, yoga for their betterment or for their healthy life. Next we have science tourism. Mainly in the science tourism, the students as well as the people or the tourists, they are just going to see the exhibition as well as the science exhibitions which are related to the science and technology, okay, wherever those are established or set up. Next we have geographic tourism. Mainly in the geographical tourism, travelers or the tourists, they are just giving preference for visiting a place like river, then hill station, or plateaus area, then coastal area. So visiting any place which is related to geographical condition, that is called geographic tourism. Next we have agro tourism. In cities or in urban areas, mostly we people are totally unaware about the activities of farming and agriculture. So related to that, how these agricultural activities are continuing and how these things are present in this agriculture. So related to that, the urban people, they are just having nowadays a gift by this tourism, that is agro tourism. Next we have sports tourism. I think with the help of picture you can see this picture is relating with the sports tourism. Nowadays the travelers or the tourists or the viewers or the spectators, they are just visiting to a place where any kind of a sports competition are held, means Wimbledon matches, then 2020 World Cup, and then chess competitions. So this is known as a sports tourism. And next we have special event. Sometimes some countries or some regions, they are organizing some important festival like film festivals, and then the book festivals. So these kinds of important festivals or exhibitions are done or are also continued by the organization. So this is known as a tourism based on special events. Next we have heritage walk. What is here heritage walk? Mainly going for seeing or going for watching and going for experiencing the historical places or the historical regions. as a part of study and information by some tourist and traveler. So this is called heritage walk. Mainly heritage walk nowadays it is present in the place of Ahmedabad, then Mumbai, Pune. It means mainly in the cities there is a presence of heritage walks. So after retirement, some officers, they are just officers, and some officers which are giving contribution to this part of heritage walk. Next we have safe transport and security facilities. Mainly what we are considering here, and what is the main important agenda or main important aim and objective of the tourism, that when we start the tourism and when we end this tourism, our journey and our voyage should be in the proper or in the safe zone or in the safe mode. So for that purpose, whatever we are choosing the place, means accommodation as well as the transportation as well as the communication, which should be in the good form. So whether you can choose railway, roadway, airway, or the any kind of a transport. So we always give preference for the safe transport and the security facilities. Next we have Bilar, a village of books. Mainly in the district of Satara and in the place of Mahabaleshwar, there is the one most important small village known as Bilar. So there is an existence of a new kind of a library in every house or in every home. So those houses or those homes or those families are containing the various types of books are related to literature, art, architecture, or any kind of a language, as well as Sanskrit, and then the magazines, articles, the newspapers. So mainly these kinds of variety of books are the part of this Bilar, the village of books. So Maharashtra state government also boosted to this new concept like Bilar, a village of books. Next we have, as I told, MTDC, the one most important corporation known as Maharashtra Tourism Development Corporation. It was established in the period of 1975 for nurturing and for boosting the tourism in Maharashtra. Nowadays India is also getting financial support and financial help by this tourism sector. Next we have the another lesson, chapter 9, heritage management. We completed the revision of chapter 8, which was related to tourism and history. Now we are moving to the next chapter, as I told, chapter 9, heritage management. As I told you that heritage means in this form of heritage, whatever we got or whatever we obtain from one generation to another generation or from earlier generation to us, and we are giving something which is very depository, which is very valuable to next generation. So this is called as heritage. So how these monuments and how these some sources or this information as well as some important artifacts, how those things are managed in the proper way or in the proper manner. So this is the main important aspect known as heritage management. So mainly we know that in the history there are three types of sources. It is also said that sources of history, and those are oral, written, and material. I think all those things we studied in 7th, 8th and 9th standard, isn't it? So here oral sources related to folk songs, folk tales, and then any kinds of means Panchatantratla Katha, Isap Niticha Katha. So these are the examples are related to oral sources. Next we have written sources. Mainly in the written sources, what it comes or what includes the correspondence or the biographies, the travelogues or the inscription. So these things are included into the written sources of history. Means while understanding the Brahmi, Modi or the Sumerian script, we are getting the knowledge and information during that period. Next we have material sources of history. Mainly in the material sources of history, what it comes, artifacts, antiquities which we got by the archaeological excavation and which kept into the museum and archives. So here how these oral, written and material these things, antiquities and artifacts are stored and how those are conserved and preserved in the proper manner. So there are some important criteria or the special training for preserving these things. So see mainly how those things are conserved. Collecting means related to oral science, collecting and compiling folk songs or folk tales. Then after that, classifying. Next, analyzing and interpreting, means just giving proper meaning for that, interpretation, and eventually publishing the results about those folk songs and folk tales. Next we have about written source, means how it is conserved in the proper manner. Collecting written material, means any kind of a correspondence or letter or the inscription. So then chemical and mechanical process on them. Cleanliness, it is very important aspect for that. Preservation, exhibition, means these things or these written documents are kept for exhibition. Next we have publishing results and the research reports. For next, material source, how it is conserved or preserved in the proper manner. See, collecting artifacts, means as I told, antiquities or artifacts. Then preparing indexes for those, means whatever the names and their presence or how it is, in which section those things are kept. So for that, preparing indexes. Then chemical and mechanical process over there. Then preservation, exhibition, then publishing, research and results, means all these things and necessary training and whatever the criteria and the rules for this written material oral, these things should be kept in the proper manner in the library, archive or the museum here. Next we have institutes which are related for keeping these things in a proper manner. Those are libraries. It is a storehouse of knowledge or storehouse of books, you can consider. Next, museum, mainly maybe ever you have visited museum. So mainly it is the store of antiquities and artifacts. And archives, which is the place of deposition of historical documents and records. So see, we are going to see about the famous museum in the world. You can see with the help of picture, the picture is related to the library, how the books are managed in the proper way and kept in the sections in the proper way. So famous museums in the world, which are those? First of all, Louvre Museum in France. It means in the France, the one most important oldest museum, it is known as Louvre Museum. It contains 3 lakh or more than 3,80,000 artifacts. The masterpieces of Leonardo da Vinci, known as Mona Lisa, which is also the part of this Louvre Museum. Next museum is British Museum in England. We have, so see, British Museum, mainly 80 lakh or more than 80 lakh objects are present here. Next we have National Museum of Natural History in United States of America. Mainly it is containing more than 12 crore specimens of fossils and remains of plants, animals, rocks, artifacts. Means mainly these kinds of things are available in this museum. And next one is Indian Museum. It is established or set up by Kolkata, means Asiatic Society, Bengal, Kolkata. So in India, another important museums are also present. So in some cities which are having the presence of this museum, those are Chennai, Ahmedabad, Hyderabad and Mumbai. So mainly these are important museums which are present in India, or it is also said as Indian museums. Next we have libraries, storehouse of knowledge and information. As I told you earlier, that library, it contains a lot of books or more than thousands of crore of books. Those are containing the different type of information or various types of information, aspects of human culture, tradition and sentiments and emotions. So library is the one most important storehouse of knowledge and information. We can consider like this. Next we have types of encyclopedia. First of all, we have to understand what is meant by encyclopedia here. Mainly encyclopedia is a systematic compilation. Systematic, see the what word is used. Systematic compilation means collection of information or knowledge this is called encyclopedia. I think you have seen or somewhere you have heard about encyclopedia. It contains a lot of information, isn't it? So here encyclopedia, which is a systematic compilation or the accumulation of the knowledge and information here. Next we have, there are some types of encyclopedia. First of all, dictionaries. Mainly dictionaries which starts from the particular letters and which also ends at a particular letters. So see the example of dictionary. Mainly dictionaries of proverbs and idioms, and the dictionaries related to terminology. Next we have comprehensive encyclopedia. Mainly in comprehensive encyclopedia, all subjects are included. Otherwise, it is focused on a particular or chosen subject. It is called comprehensive encyclopedia. Next we have encyclopedic literature, kosha sadrusha. Means it is also given in information about some topics or about some subjects. So as I told you, various kinds of topics are discussed in the encyclopedia. In the encyclopedic literature, some articles which gave by some scholars. Okay, so those things are very important according to this Kosha Sadrusha or encyclopedic literature. Next we have indexes. Mainly in the indexes, what we can see here, that in the book of geography or in the book of history, whatever some important terms and definitions of the science, so those are given on the back of the page of the textbook here. So whatever about the glossary and some important, as I told, concepts about maths or about the science, so those are given on the back page of the textbook. So those things and information collected under the indexes here. Next we have some important examples given about these kinds of encyclopedia. Bharatiya Sanskriti Kosh means it contains the knowledge about Indian tradition, customs and the rituals. Next we have Bharat Varshiya Prachin Aitihasik Kosh. Mainly it gave a glimpse or it gave a light on the study of Indian ancient period or Indian ancient history. Next we have Bharat Varshiya Charitra Maharashtriya Jnana Kosh. Mainly it gave information related to Jnana or related to a particular subject. It is said as Maharashtriya Jnana Kosh. Next we have Bharat Varshiya Charitra Kosh. It is having 3 volumes. So in this Maharashtriya Charitra Kosh, the first volume is related to Maharashtra Bharat Varshiya Prachin Kosh. Then second one is Bharatvarshi Madhyugin Charitra Kosh, and the third is Bharatvarshiya Arvachin Charitra Kosh. Mainly in the first, history about Prachin means history about ancient India, then in the second one history about the medieval India, and in the third one Arvachin means in the period of prehistoric. Okay, so the detailed information given in these kinds of volumes. Next we have Sthala Kosh. Mainly in the Sthala Kosh, what it is given, the information is given related to geographical places or the geographical regions or the areas. So that is known as Sthala Kosh. Next we have Sthana Poti. Mainly it contains the information related to Leela Charitra and about the Chakradhar Swami, means how Chakradhar Swami gave contribution towards Mahanubhav sect. Next we have Prachin Bharatiya Sthala Kosh, means mainly it gave importance or it study the information related to Puranas, Vedas, Mahabharat, Ramayan, then Jainism, Buddhism, Vedas, then Upanishad. So mainly these Arabic and then Parsi or any kind of information it is contained in this प्राचीन भारतीय स्थलकोश. At last, Vishwakosh. Mainly, it is given information related to history of Maharashtra or history of India also. See, it was just inaugurated first time by the first Chief Minister of Maharashtra by Yashwantrao Chavan during that period. So here we completed the revision of this chapter, heritage management. I hope you understood, and whatever the points we gave and we discussed, I hope you understood that. Thank you.